Face Off is a crime genre film that tells the story of an FBI agent who must switch roles as a terrorist to prevent a bomb from detonating which will destroy the entire city. But the plan can't just go smoothly, he has to face many challenges and attacks that make him lose his real identity and family. Are you curious as how the story goes? This is the plot of the Face Off.
No, don't you worry about it, Mr. Walton.
Casing fit like a condom.
But we don't have a condom.
At the beginning of this film, a father named Sean Archer and his son Michael are playing. At the same time, a terrorist named Castor is stalking Sean. But unfortunately, Castor killed his 5-year-old son. Since then, Sean, who is also a member of the FBI, has a personal grudge against Castor. After several years have passed, the FBI is back on the hunt for Castor, and Sean handles the case. At the same time, Castor is known to be going to a place by plane. After Castor got into the plane, a woman who is also an FBI agent immediately reported that they were there.
Pollux doesn't fly without Big Brother, now come on!
Immediately Sean and his members headed to the airport and surrounded them. The siege against Castor and his members could not be carried out easily. The cunning Castor could easily evade them. However, his younger brother named Pollux Troy could easily be paralyzed. After a long time of chasing, Sean managed to paralyze Castor. After his work was finished, Sean immediately returned to his house and met Eve, his wife. It turned out that at that time the relationship between Sean, Eve, and their daughter Jamie was not very good. This is very different from the conditions in the office where Sean is an exemplary police officer and can always be relied on. It turned out that the cause is that Sean has not forgiven himself for the death of his son. While at the office, another FBI agent approached Sean and said that they had found footage of a simulated bomb detonation in a building that Castor was going to do. But they don't know where the bomb is and they have very little time. The only person who knows all of Castor's plans is his younger brother Pollux, who is already in prison. To overcome this from happening, she said that only Sean could prevent this happening. But there is only one way, which is that Sean must disguise himself as Castor and ask Pollux directly. This idea is indeed quite strange and could endanger his life, but to save many people, Sean had to do this.
I'll do it.
After agreeing to the plan, a doctor named Malcolm performed a face swap operation between Sean and Castor. Initially, the doctor peeled off their facial structures and put Castor's face on Sean. Meanwhile, they left Castor without facial skin because they thought Castor was in a coma and would not wake up anytime soon. After the surgery was finished, Sean saw the face of the person he hated so much and could barely control himself. Shortly after that, they put Sean, who had the face of Castor, in prison. While in prison, his legs were magnetized to let the officers know their movements.
This entire prison's one big magnetic field.
Here Sean acted as if he was Castor. Everyone who was there of course was surprised and saw the arrival of the most hated person there. At that time Sean began to approach his younger brother. Just like most prisons filled with violence, Sean also experienced this, but Sean was able to overcome it so that no one dared to intimidate him.
Castor Troy!
Until one day Sean approached Troy again and asked slowly where the bomb was. Troy finally said where the bomb was.
You're so fucking pathetic.
Sean was a little relieved because their efforts went smoothly and were not in vain. While in another place, Castor had woken up from his coma and found his face removed. Seeing this, Castor immediately asked his men to bring Malcolm and put Sean's face stored there.
Oh God, this is excellent. Bravo.
After that, he went into the prison and met Sean. Of course, Sean was very surprised to see his face used by someone he hated so much. Castor also said that he had lost all evidence, so he would not be able to return.
I've got a government job to abuse. You're gonna be in here for the next 100 years!
At the same time, Troy, who was in prison, was finally able to get out easily. Since that incident, Castor now played the role of Sean. He returned to Sean's house and approached his wife and daughter. He even got the recognition that Sean had. At the same time, the whereabouts of the bomb were discovered and it almost exploded. Some bomb disposal officers tried their best, but they were struggling to defuse the bomb. Until Castor asked them to evacuate and he would defuse the bomb. When Castor managed to defuse the bomb, he got more recognition from the townspeople as if he was the real hero. The news of this bomb disposal reached Sean and made him much angrier. Now Sean had to think about how to get out of there. When he asked other inmates, they said there was no way out. But Sean didn't just stop, he tried to find trouble, so he was taken to an unfamiliar room. In this place, prisoners who make trouble would be punished by using electric shocks. By the time the officers untied his legs, Sean grabbed a gun, shot them, and tried to escape from there. It turned out that escaping from the prison was not easy because the prison was in the middle of the ocean. The pursuit of Sean, who they thought was Castor, did not stop there. They continued to chase and tried to shoot him, so that Sean had no other choice but to plunge into the ocean. At the same time, Castor, who still played Sean, knew everything. That morning, Eve reminded Castor of his obligations, then Eve took him to the funeral of Sean and Eve's son, the child he accidentally killed a few years ago. At the same time, the news of the loss of Sean, who escaped from prison, slightly disturbed Castor. He ordered them to search for his body until they found him. However, a woman who still thinks the male in front of her is Sean says Castor is too stupid to go back to town. And sure enough, that night Sean returned to town. At first, he called Eve and wanted to tell everything, but Eve didn't listen and hung up. Not only that, but Sean also called Castor a threat and told him he was there. Before attacking Castor directly and revealing his identity to the public, the first thing Sean did was meet Castor's friend, who was a bomb supplier some time ago. He also asked for another weapon from his enemy's friend. To convince them, Sean had to take drugs with them. In a different place, Castor saw Sean's daughter being coerced by her boyfriend. For playing the role of a father, Castor immediately beat the male and gave her a knife in case her boyfriend did it again.
Slip this in his thigh. Twist it.
At the same time, a woman who is Castor's lover named Shasa comes to him with a 5-year-old boy. Shasa said that the child named Adam was Castor's son, but they didn't tell anyone for his safety. At that time, it turned out that Pollux, who was there, saw the whereabouts of Sean and told Castor. Castor, who played Sean, immediately mobilized members of the FBI to arrest the man. At that time, Sean looked in a dilemma because he had to fight his own FBI colleagues and also had to save the son of the person who killed his son. Not long after that, Castor reappeared until there was a shootout between them.
No, what I hate wearing.
Pollux then tried to help Castor, but he fell and died just like that. After that incident, Sean immediately left the place. On that day, Sean, who has the face of Castor, ventured into his house. He tried to tell Eve everything. When they last met, even told her blood type and also the man who is currently pretending to be her husband. At that time, of course, Eve did not believe it, but she also began to suspect. Finally, at night when Castor fell asleep, she tried to take a blood sample and went to the hospital. And sure enough, Eve knew that the man she's been with all this time isn't her husband. Knowing that Eve would do this, Sean goes to the hospital and meets Eve, but Eve says that she does not believe them both. However, Sean immediately told all their memories, and only then did Eve realize that the man was her husband. Not long after, Castor woke up and realized Eve was not beside him. Castor immediately went to the hospital and found Eve, who was working like a doctor. Previously, Castor had killed another FBI member while in the office named Victor. In the end, this is where the two of them intended to solve everything. Sean asked Shasa to come with his son to the funeral. At the same time, Castor also asked Eve to attend with his daughter.
We are here to celebrate the life of Victor Lazar.
After the church was empty, the two of them reappeared with their respective weapons. Before attacking, Castor took Eve hostage, and at the same time Shasa appeared from different directions. Now the situation was very complicated. Not long after, the two of them shoot again and attack each other. Until unexpectedly Sasha died in the chaos, where before she asked Sean to take care of her son.
Yes!
Yes!
Not long after that, Jamie appeared and helped Castor, whom she thought as her father. But soon she realized and attacked Castor with the weapon the man gave her. After that, Castor, who was slightly injured, went to the port and fled using a speedboat. Sean immediately chased Castor with another speedboat. After successfully chasing Castor, Sean furiously stabbed him until Castor died. Finally, the battle was won by Sean. After that, Sean returned and the FBI members now recognized him. He went back to doing facial surgery and his face returned to normal. The film closes by showing Sean who returned to his family. Now their relationship is much better. He also brought Adam with them. This family also received Adam well, and they considered him their son.